I gave my daughter an expensive painting for Christmas, and she contemptuously called it trash and threw it away as useless. A week later, I sold it at auction for $100,000, turning trash into treasure. When she found out, she was furious with rage and envy, but that was only the beginning. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. The wrapping paper hit the floor, red and gold. Expensive stuff. I'd spent 20 minutes getting the corners perfect. Beulah stared at the painting. Her nose did this thing, like she'd opened a carton of milk 3 weeks past due. Dad, what is this? My living room had never felt colder. Not even that winter the heating died and I wore 2 sweaters for a week. It's a painting. I kept my voice level. French from the 1890s, I thought. It's so dark. She turned it sideways, and old-looking. Dad, you know we're doing minimalist now. This looks like something from a garage sale. Thaddeus glanced up from his phone. Finally, Babe, be nice. It's the thought that counts. The thought of what? Our living room looking like a retirement home? The croissant sat on the table, cooling, much like my paternal affection. At least the croissants could be reheated. I'd been up since 6. Fresh-baked pastries. Cinnamon rolls from a recipe I'd perfected over 40 years. Premium coffee that cost more per pound than Thaddeus's fake Rolex cost, per ounce. They'd come downstairs at 10, late, complaining about being tired. Morning corn? Thaddeus stretched, yawned. Smells good. Nobody touched the food. Beulah opened the other gifts first. Cashmere scarf, designer handbag, gift cards to places I couldn't pronounce. She thanked me. Polite, distant, like I was a waiter bringing the check. Then the painting. I purchased this piece in 1994. I measured my words. From a private collection. That's nice, Dad. She set it down, leaned it against the couch. But we can't use it. Maybe you could donate it to Goodwill. Get a tax write-off? Goodwill? Yeah, you know, let someone else enjoy it. Someone with that kind of taste. I paid $12,000 for this trash in 1994. That's roughly $40,000 in today's money. But who's counting? Besides me, right now. Very carefully. Thaddeus set down his phone, smiled. That smile that doesn't reach anywhere useful. Corn, you gotta understand. Our aesthetic is very different. We're into clean lines. Statement pieces. This is kind of cluttered. Cluttered. I nodded. I see. No offense, man. It's just generational, you know? Boomers love this old school stuff. Braxton screamed something upstairs. Video game victory or massacre? Hard to tell. Celafina responded with equal volume. My grandchildren, present in the house, absent from this room. Honestly, Dad, maybe keep it in your studio. Beulah checked her phone. It's more your vibe anyway. I stood, picked up the painting. The frame felt heavier than I remembered. Yes, I think I will. Great, problem solved. She brightened. Now can we eat? I'm starving. Thaddeus frowned. Hey, Corn, you okay? You're being weird. I'm fine. Enjoy your breakfast. It's probably cold now. Beulah wrinkled her nose again. We should just order something. I walked to my studio, down the hall, past photographs neither of them had looked at in 3 years. Family photos, history, mine. The studio door clicked shut. I set the painting on my desk. Morning light hit it perfectly. The lavender fields glowed, purple and gold. Provence in summer, frozen in oil and time. Armand Guillaumin had painted this. 1892. His brushstrokes were distinctive, confident. Each dab of color intentional. The art world knew his work, respected it, treasured it. My daughter thought it was garage sale trash. I unwrapped it completely, studied it. 30 years I'd looked at this painting, every morning, hanging in my bedroom until last week when I'd taken it down. Wrapped it, written for Beulah, on the card. My hands didn't shake. They should have. Instead, they pulled my phone from my pocket, scrolled through contacts, stopped. Flossie McCoy, Sotheby's. My thumb hovered. 2 seconds. 3. I tapped. 2 rings. Flossie, it's Cornelius Harrison. Yes. Merry Christmas to you, too. Listen, I have something for your January auction. Something special. The lavender fields seemed to shimmer. Trick of the light, probably. How does next week sound? The painting sat in my passenger seat, buckled in, secured. More care than Beulah had shown it. January 2nd. Santa Fe glittered cold and bright. I parked on Canyon Road, lifted the package. A gallery owner nodded as I passed. Marcus. We'd appraised a collection together in 2018. Sotheby's entrance. Brass handles. I knew which door. Coming home felt exactly like this. Flossie met me in the lobby. Same sharp blazer, same reading glasses on a chain. 25 years, and she still looked like she could authenticate a Rembrandt in her sleep. Cornelius Harrison, she grinned. Is that what I think it is? Depends what you're thinking. She unwrapped it on the examination table. Her hands stopped. I'm thinking Armand Guillaumin, 1890s. Proven, Al, landscape. I'm thinking you've been holding out on us. It was a gift. The recipient didn't appreciate it. Then the recipient is a fool. The examination took 30 minutes. She used magnification, UV light, checked the signature, the brushwork, the canvas weave, all the things Beulah hadn't bothered to ask about. Provenance? Private auction, 1994. Estate of the Duchamp family. I have all documentation. Condition? Museum quality. Controlled environment for 30 years. She made notes. Consulted her tablet. Market comparisons. Recent sales. Current market for Guillaumin is strong. I'm thinking 6 figures. 6 figures. Beulah's garage sale trash was worth 6 figures. How soon can you auction it? Conservative estimate? She looked up. 100 to 120,000. I remembered that 1994 auction. New York, November, private estate sale. The Duchamp family liquidating assets. Most people saw a decent landscape. Nice colors, unsigned or poorly signed. I saw the brushwork, the color palette, the way purple met gold in exactly one way. Guillaumin's way. I'd bid 12,000. Won it. Brought it home. Hung it where I could see it every morning. You've got good taste. Flossie smiled. And patience. Had. Past tense. What changed? I tried to pass it along. Didn't work out. She didn't push. Professionals don't. She prepared the consignment papers. 3 pages. Standard contract. My hand moved to sign. Stopped. Should I tell Beulah first? The thought lasted half a second. My pen moved. Second thoughts? Flossie watched me. No. Too quick. Too firm. None. Do you want the sale to be confidential? We can keep it out of the public catalog. No need. Wrong answer. I should have said yes. But I assumed Beulah would never see an auction catalog. She didn't read them. Didn't care about them. Assumptions make interesting mistakes. January 9th. Flossie filed the papers. Our winter collection auction. This'll be a highlight. Meanwhile, across town, Beulah stirred her latte. Canyon Road, calf. Expensive. Trendy. Windows overlooking galleries I'd worked with for decades. Your dad still upset about Christmas? Zenobia Wallace sipped her cappuccino. Designer bag on the chair. $300 sunglasses inside. He's being ridiculous. Beulah shrugged. It was just some old painting. What kind of painting? I don't know. Brown, dark, very antique looking. Not our style at all. Thaddeus's voice crackled through speakerphone. He's been weird all week. Won't return my calls. He's getting old, Z. Beulah tapped her temple. Maybe a little, Legal? For what? Zenobia frowned. Just making sure Corn's protected. Thaddeus paused for effect. He was good at those, in case his judgment is slipping. You think it's that serious? He lives alone in that big house, making financial decisions. We should be involved. January 9th arrived. Clear sky. Cold. I wore my gray suit, bow tie, Sotheby's auction room filled with collectors, phone bidders on standby, the smell of money and art mixed into something sharp. I sat in the back row. Lot 47 came up. The auctioneer's voice carried. Professional. Practiced. Armand Guillaumin, Paysage de Provence, circa 1892. Oil on canvas. Opening bid, 60,000. Paddles rose, 3, 5. Phone lines lit up, 65, 70. We have 80,000, 90. The bidding war lasted 90 seconds. 90 seconds to undo 30 years of sentimental attachment. Efficient, really. I appreciated the economy of it. 115, 118,000. The room held its breath. Fair warning. The hammer fell. Sharp crack. Final. Sold. $118,000. Applause rippled. People shook my hand. Congratulations. Professional courtesies. I accepted them all. My passenger seat stayed empty on the drive home. The phone rang. Beulah. I let it hit voicemail. Rang again. Thaddeus. Voicemail. Third call. Beulah. I pulled over. Quiet street. Stared at the screen. My thumb moved toward the answer button. Maybe I should explain. Maybe even buzz. Text message. Zenobia. Wait. Why would a screenshot? Sotheby's auction results newsletter. The painting. Lot 47. Sold for $118,000. Below it, Beulah, your dad's painting sold for how much? Another buzz. Different thread. Beulah meant to text Thaddeus. Send it to the group chat instead. That was my painting. He stole my Christmas gift. I stared. 5 calls in 10 seconds. Screen lit up like a Christmas tree. Ironic. I turned it off. Started the engine. The war had begun. Limoges, circa 1875. Hairline crack on the handle. My pen moved across the journal page. Morning light hit the coffee cup just right. Number 83 in my collection. Delicate roses on porcelain. Beautiful. My phone rang. Unknown number. I ignored it. Continued writing. Provenance uncertain. Acquired estate sale, Albuquerque. Downstairs, a door slammed. Footsteps. Fast. Angry. Coming up the stairs. I set down my pen. The studio door flew open. Beulah. Face red. Phone clutched in her hand like a weapon. $118,000? I didn't look up from my journal. Good morning to you, too. Don't you good morning me. You sold my painting. Your painting. I capped my pen, carefully. Interesting interpretation. Thaddeus appeared behind her, breathing hard from the stairs. Corn, we need to talk. Seriously, about what you did. I finally looked up, met his eyes. What I did was sell my property. Coffee? Beulah's hands shook. The phone screen showed the screenshot. Sotheby's auction results. Lot 47. $118,000 in bold numbers? That was my Christmas gift. You can't just take back a gift. You refused it. Called it garage sale trash, if memory serves. I didn't refuse it. I just said it wasn't my style. I stood, walked to my desk, pulled up my computer, found the Sotheby's transaction receipt, turned the screen toward her. You suggested I donate it to Goodwill. Those were your exact words. Thaddeus stepped closer, looked at the screen. You're twisting things. You know what she meant. I know precisely what she meant. My voice stayed level. 40 years of dealing with difficult clients taught me that. I've been an art appraiser for 40 years. I recognize contempt when I see it. 3 years of free housing, utilities, and groceries. If I'm mentally declining, I started in 2022. Should have gotten that checked. Beulah's expression shifted, fake concern replacing rage. Look, let's be reasonable. You made a profit. A big one. We think Beulah deserves compensation. Compensation? For what exactly? For my gift. Half of that money is mine. It stopped being yours the moment you rejected it. Legally, ethically, and morally. Thaddeus crossed his arms. We could get a lawyer. Please do. I smiled. I'll enjoy that conversation. Beulah's eyes narrowed. Different tactic. Why are you being so difficult? Are you okay, Dad? Mentally? The room temperature dropped 10 degrees. Excuse me. She's just saying... Thaddeus put his hand on her shoulder. Making big financial decisions alone at your age. At my age, which is 70, not 90. We're worried about you. Selling valuable things impulsively. My coffee sat on the desk. Cold now. I'd made French press. Ethiopian beans. Wasted on this morning. I poured it down the sink. Some conversations deserve instant coffee. This one deserved nothing. The only impulsive decision I made was thinking you'd appreciate beauty over price tags. Thaddeus's voice hardened. You're being financially irresponsible. Senile, honestly. Something snapped. Senile? Senile? I stood. They both stepped back. I have been supporting you for 3 years. Rent-free, and you dare. We didn't ask for that painting specifically. Get out! My hand pointed to the door, shaking, not from age, from rage. There are things in this house 10 times more valuable than that painting, and you'll never... I stopped. The words hung in the air. Beulah's eyes changed, sharpened. 10 times more valuable? I'd made a mistake, a critical one. Out. Now. Both of you. They left, finally. Beulah threw one last look around the studio, cataloging, calculating. The door closed. I sat, stared at my coffee cup collection. 127 pieces. 19th century porcelain. Some worth thousands, most worth sentiment. My phone sat on the desk. I picked it up, scrolled to Lemuel's contact. Video call. He answered on the 3rd ring. Tokyo apartment behind him. Early morning, his time. Dad, what happened? Your sister discovered I sold the Guillaumin. And she's upset after calling it trash? Upset doesn't cover it. I rubbed my eyes. I may have made a strategic error. What kind of error? The kind that involves my temper and their greed. I'll handle it. His face filled with concern. Want me to fly home? No. Stay with your family. I paused. But Lemuel, I need you to know something about your inheritance. We talked for 20 minutes. Plans, possibilities, protection. When the call ended, I pulled out a business card from my desk drawer. Sid Parker, attorney at law. We'd known each other 30 years. He answered on the second ring. Cornelius Harrison. Been a while. I need advice. Estate planning. Everything okay health-wise? My health is fine. My daughter's character, less so. He chuckled. One of those calls. What happened? She's living in my house. Has been for 3 years. Rent-free. Generous of you. It was. I'm reconsidering my generosity. I'm listening. I need to update my will, and I need to know my legal options regarding house guests who've overstayed their welcome. Are we talking eviction? We're talking about protecting my assets from people who see me as an ATM with a pulse. Silence. Then, when can you come to my office? Tomorrow too soon? 10 a.m., bring documentation. I ended the call, sat in the quiet. Then I walked downstairs, through the living room, past the antique portrait of great-grandmother Cornelia. Gold frame, dark oils, stern face, my desk drawer in the hallway. Not quite closed. I opened it. Everything looked normal, but I knew my organization. Someone had been here. The filing cabinet, locked, but fresh scratches around the keyhole. New. From today. The portrait, slightly crooked. I straightened it, stared at Cornelia's painted face. They're looking for treasure. Perfect. Upstairs, through the ceiling, voices, muffled. Thaddeus. If that painting was worth over $100,000, Beulah. What else is he hiding? I pulled out my phone, opened notes, typed, Phase 1, complete. They've taken the bait. Phase 2, let them hunt. Documents covered Sid's desk. Property deeds, bank statements, 3 years of utility bills, grocery receipts in neat chronological order. Sid whistled low. You've been documenting everything. Force of habit. I shifted in the leather chair. 40 years of provenance verification. He ran his finger down a spreadsheet. $2,400 monthly for their rent equivalent. $400 utilities. $600 groceries. Multiply by 36 months. He looked up. You're owed $87,000. Give or take. I don't want the money. Then what do you want? I want them to understand what they threw away. And I want my house back. Sid leaned back. His office smelled like old books and coffee. Wood paneling. Framed diplomas. Comfortable. You kept receipts for 3 years? I keep receipts for 30 years. Occupational hazard. This is over $80,000. That's the monetary value. The personal cost is considerably higher. He tapped his pen against the desk. You want to formalize these as loans? I want to establish that I've been generous. When I stop being generous, I want the law on my side. You're building a case. I'm documenting reality. There's a difference. Sid pulled out a legal pad, started writing. If they're going through your things, you should know about it. Security cameras? It's your house. Completely legal. The idea felt wrong. Intrusive. That feels invasive. They're invading your privacy. You're protecting your property. I sat with that. Small one, just in my studio. Start there. See what they do. Back home, they'd already started. I discovered this later. Security footage doesn't lie. Beulah photographed the Remington sculpture on the mantel. Bronze cowboy. Worth maybe $8,000. She took 6 photos, different angles, uploaded them immediately. Thaddeus measured the Chinese vase in the hallway. Ming Dynasty reproduction. Cost me $300 at a gallery closing sale. He spent 20 minutes examining the maker's mark with a magnifying glass, but the portrait obsessed them. Great-grandmother Cornelia, stern Victorian woman, dark background, ornate gold frame, hanging in the living room for 4 years. I'd installed the camera on Tuesday. By Thursday, I had 6 hours of footage of Thaddeus trying and failing to pick my desk lock with a paperclip. He watched a YouTube tutorial. Twice. I could have just given him the key. Would have saved us both time. But where's the fun in that? January 20th. Video call with Lemuel. Evening his time. His face filled my laptop screen. Dad, this sounds serious. It's complicated. Beulah is... She's not who I raised. Money changes people. Lack of money in her case. She and Thaddeus have debt I never knew about. How much debt? Enough to make them desperate. Enough to make my house look like an inheritance worth fighting for. What can I do? I took a breath. I need to ask you something. About the house. His expression shifted, concerned. What about it? I want to transfer 50% ownership to you. Why, Dad? Are you sick? I'm perfectly healthy. This is strategic. Strategic how? If Beulah tries to claim rights to this house after when I'm gone, you'll have equal say. When you're gone is hopefully 30 years from now. Or next week, if she tries to have me declared incompetent. Silence stretched across the Pacific. She wouldn't. She called me senile 3 days ago, in my own studio. More silence. Then, what do you need me to sign? January 23rd, Sid's office. Lemuel via electronic signature from Tokyo. Documents signed, notarized, filed. Lemuel now owned half my house. This made him, technically, Beulah's landlord. The irony was delicious. I considered telling her, then decided the surprise would taste better. Later. January 27th. Gallery opening, local artist. Watercolors of the Rio Grande. I stayed 2 hours. Talked to collectors. Drank mediocre wine. Gave Beulah and Thaddeus a window. Security footage from that night showed Thaddeus in my office. Alone. Systematic. Opening drawers. Checking files. He found the Christie's folder. I watched him pull out the letter. Old letterhead. 1998. Professional appraisal for a portrait I'd authenticated years ago. 18th century. Unknown artist. Estimated value. $800,000 to $200,000. The letter mentioned the portrait was sold in 2005. Proceeds used to purchase this house. Thaddeus didn't read that part. He saw only the valuation. His hands shook as he photographed the document. Ran from the room, calling for Beulah. I watched their conversation in the living room. No audio, but their body language spoke volumes. Thaddeus showed her the photo. Her eyes went wide. She grabbed his phone, read it 3 times. Then they both turned, stared at the great-grandmother portrait. Their gold mine, completely fake. Cost me $200 in 2020. I'd left that Christie's folder accessible deliberately. Wanted them to find something, keep them busy, waste their time. I hadn't expected them to find that specific letter. Mistake, not fatal, but careless. Late January the 28th, after midnight. Studio, just me and the security monitor. I watched old footage. Beulah in my office, laughing at something Thaddeus said. The angle caught her face perfectly. Joy, excitement. She looked like she did at age 8. Birthday party treasure hunt. The same house. She'd found a silver dollar I'd hidden. Squealed, hugged me. Best birthday ever, Daddy. I paused the video, her face frozen in laughter. What happened to you? The words came out whisper quiet. My phone sat next to the keyboard. I could call, explain, offer to help with her debts. Financial counseling. A real path forward. The video resumed automatically. Beulah opened my desk drawer, removed my late wife's jewelry box, costume jewelry. Sentimental value only. She photographed it, put it back. My hand stayed on the desk. No, you made your choice. But doubt lingered. Was I becoming as cold as they were greedy? January 30th, evening, dinner with Flossie, business, museum donations, tax strategies. I came home, hung my coat, walked into the living room. The portrait, crooked again. I straightened it, stepped back. Stern woman, 1890s dress, dark background, gold frame, good reproduction, local artist, 2020, aged deliberately. The artist had laughed. Who would fake something like this? Someone with a sense of irony, I'd said. Now something new caught my eye. Sticky note on the frame's edge. Partially visible from the side. I pulled it off. Beulah's handwriting. Get appraised. 18th century. Up to 1.2 wents. Do not touch. I stared. Smiled. Slow. Wide. They believed it was this portrait. I pulled out my phone. Texted Sid. They took the bait. Phase 2 ahead of schedule. Sid. What bait? Me. The one I didn't know I'd set. Sometimes luck is better than planning. The fake Cornelia stared back. Stern. Judging. Thank you, I whispered. You're about to become very expensive and completely worthless. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Harrison, this is Gerald Chen from Heritage Auction House. We received an inquiry about your 18th century portrait. The caller said they were your daughter. Authorized to seek valuations on your behalf. We'd love to schedule an appointment. My smile faded. They weren't just planning. They were trying to sell my property. I'll call you back. I hung up, stared at the portrait. The game just changed. The tray appeared in my peripheral vision. Food. Actual food. That someone else had made. I looked up from the Santa Fe New Mexican. Early February morning. Beulah stood there holding scrambled eggs, bacon, orange juice, and toast that wasn't burnt. "Good morning, Dad." Her voice hit notes I hadn't heard since she was 12. I set down the newspaper, slowly. "What's the occasion?" "No occasion. Can't a daughter make her father breakfast?" I took a careful bite of eggs. Folded properly, not scrambled flat. "You remembered the technique?" "I remember a lot of things, Dad. We should talk more. About the past. About preserving memories." "Preserving memories." I took another bite. Interesting phrase. Beulah made me breakfast 3 days in a row. 3 days. I hadn't experienced this level of maternal care from her since she was in utero. The eggs were competent. The motives were transparent. I ate slowly, savoring both. Thaddeus discovered a passion for art history. Overnight, the same man who'd called my Guillaumin old people clutter now wanted to discuss brush techniques and period framing. "Corn, I've been thinking." He appeared in the living room where I was reading. "That portrait? Great-grandmother Cornelia." "Right. Have you ever had it appraised? For insurance purposes?" I looked at him over my reading glasses. "I know what it's worth." Sure, but officially, with proper documentation." "It's documented, extensively." "That's good. That's really good." He nodded too many times. "Wouldn't want anything to happen to it." "No, we certainly wouldn't." He pronounced provenance wrong 4 times in one conversation. I didn't correct him. Comedy requires commitment. Friday night, family dinner. I'd cooked. Roasted chicken, garlic potatoes, green beans. They actually showed up on time. "Tell us about great-great-grandmother Cornelia." Beulah leaned forward. "We never hear family stories." I paused, set down my fork, as if considering whether to share. "Cornelia Duchamp Harrison, born in Paris, 1765. Minor nobility." Beulah's eyes widened. "French nobility?" "Very minor, but enough for a portrait commission. She sat for 3 months." Thaddeus stopped chewing. 3 months? Must have been expensive? Oil portraits took time. The artist was notable. His name is lost to history, but the technique... I touched my chest. Remarkable. And it's been in our family since then. Passed down through 7 generations. My grandfather nearly sold it during the Depression. My father wouldn't allow it. I paused for effect. "Some things," he said, "are more valuable than money." They exchanged glances. Quick. Greedy. "Wise man," Thaddeus said. He was. He understood worth. Later that week, Sid's office. Documents spread across his desk. New will. Museum donation agreements. "You're really doing this?" Sid looked up from the papers. "I'm really doing this." "They'll lose their minds." "That's the idea." He signed as witness. I signed as donor. Notary stamped everything. Legal. Binding. Irrevocable. The next morning, Canyon Road Museum. Patricia Morales' office smelled like coffee and old paper. "This is incredibly generous, Cornelius. It's time. The piece should be seen, appreciated. The period is perfect for our exhibition. 1890s family portraiture." 1890s? Yes, approximately. She examined the photographs I'd brought. The fake looked good in photos. That's all that mattered. "We'll name the gallery hall after your family. The Harrison Room." "Perfect. They'll love that." I touched the frame during dinner that night. Reverently, like I was saying goodbye to something precious. Thaddeus's eyes followed my hand like a cat watching a laser pointer. "Beautiful piece," he said. "Irreplaceable," I replied. "Technically true. You can't replace something that was never valuable in the first place. The reproduction cost $200. The frame cost $150. The look on his face? Priceless. That night, their bedroom. I didn't need security cameras to know what they were saying. Their voices carried. "He's obsessed with that portrait," Thaddeus said. 7 times he mentioned preserving it. "Because it's worth a fortune." Beulah's voice pitched high with excitement. "And he's sentimental about it." "Sentimental old men make decisions they regret." "What do you mean?" "I mean, what if something happened to him? Not anything bad? Just naturally?" "Thaddeus, I'm saying we need a plan. That portrait comes to you. Only child. I'm not the only child. Lemuel's in Japan. He doesn't care about this stuff. Silence. Then Beulah. We need to be in the will properly. We keep being perfect, devoted, indispensable. I walked away from their door, back to my studio, locked it, moved to the back corner, behind my drafting table. The large canvas leaned against the wall, covered with cloth. I'd walked past it for weeks, ignoring it deliberately. Now I pulled the cloth away. The real portrait emerged. Luminous skin tones, genuine 18th century technique, masterful composition. The actual Cornelia Duchamp Harrison, painted 1789. I turned it around. On the back, protected by archival plastic. Original certificate of authenticity. Christie's appraisal, 1998. Museum transfer agreement, signed 2020. Anonymous donor. A sticky note in my handwriting. To be revealed after my death. Let them enjoy the fake. CH, 2020. I photographed it. Sent to Sid. Insurance policy. Sat back. Looked at the $1 million masterpiece, then at my phone showing the living room fake. They're hunting ghosts, I said to the empty studio. Beautiful, expensive ghosts. I recovered the real portrait. Returned it to hiding. Tomorrow, formal dinner. Time to show them what their niceness had earned. My phone buzzed. Text from Sid. Documents ready. Museum donation official as of tomorrow. Are you sure about this? Me. Absolutely. Sid. They'll lose their minds. Me. That's the idea. Upstairs, through the ceiling, muffled voices continued. Beulah. If we're extra nice, maybe he'll reconsider the will. Thaddeus. The portrait could be ours by summer. I walked to my bedroom, paused at the door. Summer, I whispered. Optimistic. 6 place settings. Good china. Crystal glasses. The dining room looked ready for celebration. It wasn't. Beulah entered, saw the setup. Stopped. Dad, this is beautiful. What's the occasion? Family meeting. I adjusted a fork. Important announcement. Her eyes lit up. Announcement? About my estate. Time to make some things official. She practically vibrated, already texting Thaddeus. I watched her face. Pure, uncomplicated greed, disguised as joy. The doorbell rang. Are you expecting someone? Our witness. I opened the door. Sid Parker stood there, briefcase in hand. Beulah's smile froze. Witness? Dinner proceeded cordially. Wine poured. Small talk about Braxton's soccer. Cellophana's art class. Thaddeus wore a suit he'd borrowed from my closet. Didn't fit quite right. After the main course, I stood, glass raised. I want to thank you all for being here. Family is precious. Beulah leaned forward. Dad, this is so nice. I've been considering my legacy, what I'll leave behind. Thaddeus dabbed his mouth with a napkin. You have years ahead, Corn. Perhaps. But at 70, one thinks about these things. I paused. I've made a decision about great-grandmother Cornelia's portrait. Beulah's breathing stopped. I'm donating it to Canyon Road Museum. The papers are signed. Transfer is next week. Silence. Beulah's wine glass tilted. Sid caught it before it spilled. You're... what? Thaddeus's face progressed through several colors during my announcement. Pale cream, tomato red, and finally the purple of an overripe eggplant. It was like watching a sunset. A very angry, financially devastated sunset. Dad, wait! Beulah's voice cracked. That portrait has been in our family for generations. Exactly why it belongs in a museum. Proper preservation, climate control, security. But it's your property, your decision to make. I've made it. Her smile stretched. Brittle. Shouldn't you have discussed this with family first? I'm telling you now, as a courtesy. Thaddeus turned to Sid. This is a major decision. It's his property. Sid's voice was neutral, professional. Legally, he can donate what he wishes. Who asked you? I'm his attorney. It's my job to ask. I sat back down, sipped wine. The museum is thrilled. They're naming the gallery hall after our family. Beulah congratulated me on my generosity. Her teeth were so gritted, I worried about her dental work. So generous, Dad. The words came out strangled. I thanked her. Poured her more wine. She needed it. The Harrison room? Great-grandmother Cornelia will be the centerpiece. Thousands will see her. Braxton looked up from his potatoes. Will they pay you, Grandpa? Everyone froze. No, Braxton, it's a gift. Charitable donation. Oh, so we don't get money? Beulah grabbed his arm, too hard. Sweetie, this isn't about money. Then why does Mom keep saying, Braxton, not now? Thaddeus pulled out his phone, scrolled through something. These documents, when were they signed? Yesterday. Sid cut his chicken, calm. Notarized and filed. Can they be reconsidered? No. Donation is irrevocable. Beulah set down her fork. Irrevocable? It means permanent, dear. She looked at Sid. Even if he changes his mind? Even then, the portrait belongs to the museum now. Thaddeus's jaw worked. This seems rushed, impulsive. I've been planning this for 5 years. Hardly impulsive. The museum promised to name a gallery after us. The Harrison Room. Our family name, immortalized in Santa Fe culture. Beulah said, "How wonderful." She did not look wonderful. She looked like someone who'd just learned Santa wasn't real. The tooth fairy was broke, and her inheritance had been donated to charity. Celafina tugged my sleeve. Will we get to visit it, Grandpa? Anytime you want, sweetheart. Free admission for family. Beulah's voice came out strangled again. Well, congratulations, Dad. Very generous of you. Thank you. The museum is lucky. They are. And so are we. Our family name preserved in perpetuity. Thaddeus pushed back his chair. Right, the name. That's the important thing. Isn't it? Not the monetary value. The legacy. Sid left at 9. Knowing nod. I walked him to the door. Nicely done, he whispered. Thank you for being here. Wouldn't miss it. He glanced back at the dining room. They're planning something. Let them plan. I retired early. Lay in bed listening to the house. 10 o'clock. Their bedroom door slammed. He gave it away. He gave away $1 million. Keep your voice down. I don't care. Do you understand what just happened? Yes, I was there. That was our retirement, our house fund, everything. It was never ours? It was supposed to be ours? When he... Pause. Heavy. When he what? Dies? Crying now. This is your fault. You said being nice would work. Don't put this on me. You're the daughter. And you're the one who found that appraisal. Got our hopes up. Our hopes? You were the one making them eggs every morning. Something crashed. Glass, maybe. Children's door opened. Small footsteps. Mom? Dad? Go back to bed. Why are you fighting? We're not... Just go to sleep? Celafina's voice. Tiny. Is it because of Grandpa? Silence. Then Beulah, cold and clear. Yes. Yes, it's because of Grandpa. I closed my eyes. My revenge was working. So why did I feel like this? Midnight, studio, laptop open, the real portrait photo on screen, $1 million masterpiece. Hidden, safe. There's never. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Harrison, this is Attorney Morton Fisher. I represent your daughter, Beulah Harrison Crawford. We need to discuss your recent donation and your mental competency to make such decisions. I'd like to schedule a meeting. I hung up, stared at the phone. They'd hired a lawyer. The game just escalated. My phone rang. Morning light. Coffee halfway to my mouth. Sid Parker. No greeting. You've been served. I set down the cup. Carefully. Served? Legal papers. Petition for guardianship and conservatorship. They're claiming you're mentally incompetent to manage your affairs. The word hung in the air. Incompetent. When? Process servers should arrive within the hour. I'm coming over. Through my window, I saw Beulah's car in the driveway. Thaddeus loading something into the trunk. They were home. Watching. Waiting to see my face when the papers arrived. Let them come, I said. The doorbell rang 40 minutes later. Process server. Young guy. Apologetic expression. Cornelius Harrison? Yes. You've been served. He handed me the papers. You have 14 days to respond. Have a nice day. I stood in the doorway reading. Petition for guardianship and conservatorship. Advanced age affecting judgment. Impulsive financial decisions. Vulnerability to exploitation. Beulah watched from her bedroom window. I looked up, met her eyes. Mouthed, war. Sid arrived 20 minutes later, spread the papers across my kitchen table. They're claiming you're incompetent. Advanced age affecting judgment. I'm 70, not 90. They cite the museum donation as proof of impulsive decision-making. I planned that donation for 5 years. I know, they don't. Or they're lying. He flipped pages. You need to pass a competency evaluation. Should be easy. You're sharp as ever. Easy. I stared at the papers. Sid, they're trying to take my autonomy. They're trying. They'll fail. But it'll be public. Court records. People will know. Good. My voice came out hard. Let them see what my daughter has become. Dr. Sharon Margolis's office smelled like lavender and textbooks. 3 days later, 3 hours of testing. What year is it, mister? Harrison? 2025? Current president? Do we have to discuss politics? Small smile. Just establishing baseline. Count backwards from 100 by sevens. 100, 93, 86, 79, 72, 65, 58. Sufficient. Tell me about your recent financial decisions. I donated a painting to a museum. Family heirloom. Seemed appropriate. Dr. Margolis asked me to draw a clock. A clock. I'm a former art appraiser who spent 40 years examining old masters, and I'm drawing a clock to prove I'm not senile. I made it a dowel. Clock? Melting. She didn't laugh. Psychiatrists have no sense of humor. I still passed. Your daughter suggests this was impulsive. My daughter wants money. There's a difference. You sound angry. Wouldn't you be? Your own child trying to have you declared incompetent? She made notes. That's a very rational response, actually. Meanwhile, Thaddeus made calls. Hired someone. Budget detective named Frank Morris. $200 a day. Investigation target, the portrait. Morris found a museum curator. Junior level. Marcus Chen. Student loans. Rent problems. $50,000 in debt. $2,000 in cash changed hands. Marcus examined the donated portrait after hours. Reported back. It's a reproduction. Modern materials. Maybe 5 years old. Worth $300 with the frame. Thaddeus, hearing this, didn't understand. Didn't realize Cornelius donated a worthless fake on purpose. Instead, he swapped them, gave them the fake, kept the real one. New conspiracy, new hunt, same desperation. March 1st. My studio door flew open. We know what you did. I looked up from my book. Good morning to you, too. The portrait, the one you gave the museum. It's fake. Is it? Beulah's face was red. Beautiful, like a ripe tomato. We had it checked. It's a reproduction. Interesting. Thaddeus stepped forward. Where's the real one? Where did you hide it? Thaddeus accused me of defrauding a museum. Me, a man who authenticated art for 4 decades. A man whose reputation is built on honesty. He pronounced provenance wrong while doing it. I almost gave him a dictionary. Almost. Hide what? The $1 million portrait. The Christie's appraisal. Ah, that old document. We know you swapped them. Gave the museum a fake. Kept the real one. I set down my book. Stood. You think I defrauded a museum? We think you're playing games. Perhaps I am. Or perhaps you're so desperate for money, you're seeing treasures that don't exist. Their lawyer called that afternoon. Morton Fisher. Aggressive voice. Cheap tactics. Mr. Harrison, we have evidence of erratic behavior. Donating valuable art impulsively. They're my heirlooms. I don't need permission. At your age, sir, judgment can be impaired. My judgment is excellent. Yours, taking this case, is questionable. We'll see what the judge says. I hung up. That night, old photo albums. My studio. Alone. Beulah at 3. Gap-toothed smile. Paintbrush in hand. Beulah at 8. Museum. Staring at a Monet. Beulah at 16. Art class. Her first canvas. Where did that girl go? I picked up my phone. Typed, we need to talk. Really talk. Not about money. About us. Thumb hovered over send. Dr. Margolis's question echoed. Do you think reconciliation is possible? My answer then, no. Now, I don't know. I deleted the message. The doubt lingered. Is this justice or cruelty? The line blurs at midnight. Morning brought clarity. And the Santa Fe New Mexican. Small piece, page 7. Local art expert faces competency challenge from family. My name, public record. Everyone would know. The phone started ringing. Gallery owners, collectors, museum people I'd worked with for decades. Corn, what's happening? Need anything? This is outrageous. Support. Unexpected. Overwhelming. Zenobia called Beulah. I heard about it later through Flossie, who heard from Patricia, who heard from someone at the museum. Is it true? You're suing your father? It's complicated. Beulah, I can't support this. Click. Within 3 days, their social circle evaporated. Invitations withdrawn. Calls unreturned. Avoidance in grocery stores. Santa Fe is small. Word spreads fast. Judgment faster. March 1st. Evening. Doorbell. News van. Channel 7. Reporter with microphone. Mr. Harrison, can we ask you about the guardianship petition? Camera light. Neighbor watching across the street. I could close the door. Instead, yes, I have a statement. Your daughter believes you're incompetent? I underwent psychiatric evaluation. I passed. Perfectly. Because I'm not incompetent. I'm just done being used. Used. I supported her family for 3 years. Rent-free. They called my gifts trash. Then sued when I donated art to a museum. That's not concern for my well-being. That's greed. Strong words. True words. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have documents to prepare. For court. My phone erupted. Texts. Calls. Sid. Did you just talk to press? Lemuel. Dad, I saw the news stream. You okay? Another call. Judge's clerk. Competency hearing scheduled March 10th. I'll be there. 10 days to prove I'm not senile. 10 days to show the world what my daughter has become. I walked to my studio, locked the door, pulled out the folder. Evidence. Financial support. 2022-2025. 3 years of receipts. Bank transfers. Utilities. Groceries. Medical bills. 87 in a 32-ounce 7-pot. Started scanning. If they want war, they'll get truth first. March 10th. Court day. I sat in my living room, charcoal suit, burgundy bow tie, briefcase beside me. Sid should arrive in 20 minutes. My phone rang. Don't leave yet. What's wrong? Fisher withdrew the petition an hour ago. Emergency filing. I set down my coffee. Why? He's claiming new information suggests resolution outside court is preferable. Translation, they know they'll lose. So it's over? The lawsuit? Yes. But Korn, they're not done. Through my window, Beulah's car pulled into my driveway. Thaddeus in passenger seat. They're here. Don't let them in alone. I'm coming. No need. I think it's time we had that conversation. But they didn't knock on the front door. Walked around back. Toward the studio. They weren't coming to talk. They were coming to search. I followed. Silent. Phone recording video. A locksmith picked my studio lock. Beulah and Thaddeus entered. I stood in the doorway. Watched them rifle through my files. Looking for something? They spun around. Dad, you're supposed to be... At court? Lawsuit was withdrawn. Didn't Morton tell you? Thaddeus's face went pale. We can explain... Can you? Explain breaking into my home? The locksmith backed toward the door. Ma'am, you said... We're not breaking in. This is family property. My property that you're illegally entering. The locksmith left. Fast. Beulah's hands shook. Stop playing games. Where's the real portrait? There is no real portrait. Bullshit. The Christie's appraisal was for a different painting from 1998. You're lying? Am I? Would you like to see the documents? All of them? Yes. Fine. Living room. Now, let's end this. I spread documents across my coffee table. Methodical. Systematic. Christie's appraisal, 1998. Portrait unknown artist, 18th century. Estimated 800,000, 1.2 million. Thaddeus grabbed it. See? Now read the next page. Sale record 2005. Sold for $750,000 to private collector. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. What? I sold that portrait 20 years ago. Used the money to buy this house. This house you've been living in. Rent-free. But the portrait in the museum is a $200 reproduction I commissioned in 2020. Nice piece. Historical interest. Perfect for museum exhibition. Beulah sat down hard. You're saying there's no $1 million painting? There was. I sold it before you were even married. They tore through my filing cabinets like archaeologists hunting lost treasure. Found receipts from 1987, my dental records, warranty information for a toaster I threw away in 2010. Everything except what they wanted. Proof of hidden millions. Because, and I cannot stress this enough, there were no hidden millions. I pulled out my spreadsheet. 3 years, every expense. Let's discuss value. Rent for this house, $2,800 monthly. Times 36 months, $100,800. We're family. Utilities, $400 monthly. Groceries, $600. Medical bills when your insurance lapsed, $12,000. Credit card minimums I paid, $8,400. We never asked. You never had to ask. I offered. Because I'm your father. Was your father. Dad? Total. $87,417. And you know what you said when I gave you a $118,000 painting for Christmas? Silence. Garage sale trash. Those were your exact words. Beulah's voice broke. You set us up. You planted that Christie's document. I didn't plant anything. You searched my files without permission. You wanted us to think there was treasure. I wanted you to appreciate what you had. You chose to hunt for what you didn't. You're a cruel man. My voice rose. First real anger. I'm cruel? I gave you a home. For 3 years. I gave you a painting worth $100,000. You called it trash. I fed your children, paid your bills, supported your family while you lived beyond your means. And what did I get? A lawsuit calling me incompetent. We were worried about you. You were worried about money. My money. Money you felt entitled to while I was still alive. I took a breath, regained control. You have 2 weeks. 2 weeks for what? To find new housing. I want my home back. You can't evict us. Actually, I can. This house is 50% owned by Lemuel. Has been for 6 months. He and I agree. You need to leave. Sid entered through the front door. Perfect timing. They're guests. No lease, no rent paid, no tenant status. 14 days' notice is generous. Beulah collapsed, crying. What are we supposed to do? We have nothing. You have more than nothing. You have your health, your skills, your children. You just don't have my money. After destroying their delusions, after presenting documentation of their exploitation, after formally evicting them, I did something inexplicable. I offered them coffee, French press, Ethiopian beans. They declined. I drank it alone. It was excellent. The coffee, I mean. The moment was terrible. 2 weeks later, moving day, I watched from my studio window. Budget rental truck, small. Their life diminished. 2-bedroom apartment, South Capital area. Lemuel co-signed, for the children's sake. The fake portrait was already at the museum. Installed yesterday. The Harrison room. My name on the wall forever. Beulah hadn't attended the opening. Now, watching her pack, I felt nothing. That's worse than anger. Downstairs, the front door opened. Closed. Footsteps on stairs. Beulah appeared in my doorway, alone. Red eyes. No makeup. Young again. Broken. I need to talk to you. Before I go, I need to say something. I waited. She took a breath. The doorbell rang. Babe, truck's full. We gotta go. Beulah looked at me. Whatever she was going to say died. Never mind, she whispered. Turned, left. Front door closed. Truck engines started. Drove away. My phone buzzed. Lemuel. She's gone? Me. Yes. Lemuel. How do you feel? I stared at the question for a long time. Typed, like I won and lost simultaneously. Lemuel. What's next? I looked around my studio, my home, my life, empty of parasites, full of memories. Some good, some poisoned. What is next? Apartment listings covered my kitchen table. 2-bedroom places, budget range 1-400, sub 800. Most required credit scores Beulah and Thaddeus didn't have. The doorbell rang. 3rd time today. Through the window, Beulah stood on my doorstep holding papers. Rental applications, rejected ones probably. She pressed the button repeatedly. Her voice carried through the door. Dad, please, we need to talk. Just 5 minutes. I returned to my coffee. Cold now, didn't matter. The ringing stopped. Car started, drove away. My phone buzzed. Text, we're trying. It's harder than you think. I didn't respond. 3 hours later. Please, the kids are scared. My finger hovered. Typed, I'm sorry they're scared. Deleted it. Typed, you should have thought of that before. Deleted that too. Sent nothing. 2 weeks passed. Beulah and Thaddeus applied to 17 properties. Credit scores, 485 and 512. Disqualified them from most. The rest wanted deposits, $5,000 up front. Money they didn't have. They visited repeatedly, increasingly desperate. During one visit, Beulah broke down. Not performance this time. Real fear. Dad, just 2 more weeks. We're close to finding something. You've had 2 weeks, and 3 years before that. Thaddeus leaned forward. The deposits are impossible. We need $5,000 up front. That's unfortunate. Dad, this is your grandchildren we're talking about. I paused. I know exactly who we're talking about. Where will you take them? We don't know yet. Maybe a motel temporarily? A motel? She cried harder. What choice do we have? You had choices. 3 years ago. 6 months ago. Christmas morning. You made them. But doubt crept in. Braxton's confused face. Celafina asking why Mommy cries all the time. That evening, standing in my garden, I heard Thaddeus on his phone. Window open. Voice carrying. Yeah, man, it's a shit show. No, he's being a total hard-ass. I know, right? Whatever. Old geezer's 70. How long can he really hold out? 5 years? 10? I stood frozen. Exactly. We just wait. House'll be ours. All his crap. Everything. Just gotta deal with his tantrum now. He laughed. Actually laughed. Nah, Beulah's in there crying, playing the kid card. Might buy us time. My phone was already recording. I called Sid immediately. Schedule a meeting. Tomorrow. Final. March 12th. My living room. Golden light through windows. The empty space where the portrait hung. Dark rectangle marking its absence. Beulah and Thaddeus sat on the couch. Sid stood beside me. Briefcase open. This was legal proceeding, not family discussion. Let's review the facts, Sid began. You've lived here 3 years, rent-free. We're family. You sued Mr. Harrison claiming mental incompetence. You hired a detective. You broke into his studio. We were desperate. You were greedy. There's a difference. I nodded to Sid. Show them the recording. Thaddeus's voice filled the room. Old geezer's 70. Wait him out. House'll be ours. Beulah's face went white. You said that? He took it out of context? What context makes wait for me to die acceptable? Silence. Heavy. Final. I need to clarify something about this house. I pulled out documents. Half of it belongs to Lemuel. Has for a year? What? Sid produced the deed. Transfer dated March 2024. 50% ownership to Lemuel Daniel Harrison. He lives in Japan. He's co-owner, and he's made his position clear. He doesn't want you here. I slid my spreadsheet across the table. 3 years. Every expense. Itemized. Rent equivalent. $2,800 monthly. Times 36 months. Utilities $400 monthly. Groceries $600. Medical bills. Credit cards. Total. $87,432.17. Those were gifts. And you know what you said when I gave you $118,000 painting for Christmas? I leaned forward. Garage sale trash. Those were your exact words. Sid handed them the document. Official eviction notice. Signed by sheriff's deputy. You have 48 hours to vacate. 48 hours? New Mexico law. Non-tenant guests. 48 hours notice. We'll fight this. With what lawyer? What money? You're broke. You have no case. Beulah looked at me. You're really doing this? Putting your grandchildren on the street? My voice came out cold, measured, final. I raised you to value beauty, history, and family. I gave you a home when you needed one. I fed your children. I paid your bills. I tried to pass down something meaningful, and you called it trash. Then you hunted for treasures that didn't exist. You tried to have me declared incompetent. You waited for me to die. Every choice was yours. Every consequence is earned. I don't owe you my house. I don't owe you my money. I don't even owe you my forgiveness. What I owe you is honesty. You are no longer welcome in my home. 48 hours. The document shook in Bola's hands. Thaddeus stood suddenly, knocking the coffee table. This is insane. You can't. But he stopped, looked at my face, at Sid's briefcase, at the empty wall, sat back down. Hard. We have nowhere to go, Beulah whispered. That's not my problem. She looked up at me. I don't know you anymore. The feeling, I said quietly, is mutual. Sid checked his watch. 3:47 p.m., March 12th, 2025. 48 hours starts now. They left. I watched from the window. Their car sat in the driveway for 10 minutes. Just sitting. Defeated. Finally drove away. Sid put a hand on my shoulder. You okay? I didn't answer, because I didn't know. March 17th. Budget rental truck in my driveway. Thaddeus carried boxes, clothes, kitchen items, toys, smaller loads than they arrived with. Everything valuable stayed with me. It was always mine. Braxton and Celafina sat on the porch steps. Too quiet for children, Beulah directed weakly. That box goes first. No, wait. She looked smaller, physically reduced by these weeks. I turned from the window. Couldn't watch. Couldn't look away either. My coffee sat cold. Third cup today I hadn't finished. The doorbell rang. Not Sid. Beulah. Alone. Face clean. No makeup. Raw from crying. Young again. Can I come in? Just me. 5 minutes. I should say no. Open the door wider instead. My study. Morning light. Door open. She stood. I sat. I've been trying to figure out what to say. Practiced in my head. But everything sounds hollow. I waited. I was a terrible daughter. Everything you said is true. Her voice cracked. I called your gift trash. I sued you. I hunted through your things. I waited for you to die. You didn't? Thaddeus did. You just didn't stop him. Same thing, is it? Yes. I'm complicit in everything. I knew what we were doing. I told myself we deserved it because you had money and we didn't. Because life was hard and you were comfortable. Because I felt like you owed me something for... She trailed off. For what? I don't know. That's the worst part. She laughed bitterly. You gave me everything. I had no reason. But I did, and I let that poison me. Silence stretched. I became someone I don't recognize. Someone who'd hurt her own father for money. Someone who'd lied to her children about why we're moving. She wiped tears. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know. I see what I did. I see who I became. And I'm sorry. She turned toward the door. Sit down. She hesitated. Sat. I don't want your apologies. I want you to understand. I do. No. Listen. I leaned forward. You saw price tags everywhere. On me. On everything I owned. You calculated inheritance while I was still alive. That's not about money. That's about seeing me as an obstacle rather than a person. I know. You're right. But you're here. Acknowledging it, that's more than Thaddeus would do. He won't apologize. Ever. He's angry. Blames you. Blames me. And you? I blame myself, finally. I took a breath. The debts. The $87,000. Consider them canceled. Her head snapped up. What? I don't want repayment. I want you to remember that family supported you when no one else would. Dad, but the house is mine. My space, my dignity, my choice. That boundary stands. I understand. I don't forgive you. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I don't hate you either. You're my daughter. That doesn't change, even when everything else does. She broke down completely. Thank you, she gasped. Thank you for not hating me. I didn't move to comfort her. Couldn't. The wounds were too fresh. Where are you moving? Small apartment, South Capitol. Lemuel helped find it, paid first month's rent. For the kids, he said. Lemuel is generous, like his father. I didn't respond to that. I need to go. The truck's loaded. At the door, she stopped. Will I ever see you again? I don't know. Time will tell. Can I call? Text? You can try. I won't always answer, but you can try. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation, but not total severance either. Space, time, possibility. Maybe. The truck drove away. I didn't wave. That afternoon, Lemuel arrived. Flew in from Tokyo. We sat on the terrace. Sake. Sunset. You did the right thing, Dad. Did I? Her children are in a 2-bedroom apartment. Her children have a roof. Because you arranged it. Through me. I keep seeing her face. When she was 8. She's not 8 anymore. She made adult choices, adult consequences. Doesn't make it easier. You taught her a lesson. Maybe the most important one. He poured more sake. What about your collection? The real one? Bank vault. Safety deposit box 447. 3 paintings. Total value, about $1.6 million. They're yours when I die. Dad, I don't want... I know you don't. That's why you're getting them. Beulah wanted them. You never asked. What about her? I smiled slightly. She got the most valuable painting of all. A lesson. Priceless. Can't be bought or sold. Maybe in 30 years she'll understand its value. 6 months later. September. My life is quieter now. Cleaner. Organized exactly how I want it. I joined an art appreciation society. Tuesday evenings, Canyon Road Gallery. Made 2 friends. Both retired collectors who understand art is about beauty, not investment. Morning routine. Yoga at 7, coffee at 8, museum 3 times weekly. I volunteer at Canyon Road Museum. Patricia asks my advice often. I feel useful. Lemuel video calls twice, weekly. Brought his family to visit. Wife Yuko, 3 children. They stayed in the guest rooms. Redecorated, fresh paint. New memories. The grandchildren called me Oji-san. Grandfather in Japanese. Sounded better than Grandpa. I started painting again. Terrible paintings, but mine. I hung them in my studio where no one judged. The postcard arrived mid-September. Dad, I found work. Interior designer at small firm. Starting over. Learning about value versus price. You were right. Working on myself. Thank you for not giving up on me by giving up completely. Maybe someday we can talk. B. I stared at it. Got a magnet. Hung it on the refrigerator. Next to it, crayon drawing, age 8. Best Daddy, in crooked letters. I touched both cards. Said nothing. But I didn't throw it away either. My life is smaller now, quieter, lonelier. But it's mine. That matters. Justice and love don't always coexist. Sometimes you choose one at the cost of the other. I chose justice. Time will tell if it was worth the price. The terrace overlooks Santa Fe at sunset. The mountains turn purple, then gold, then dark. I sit there most evenings now. Seike, silence, peace. Not happiness, that'll take time, but peace. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching,